Hey everyone, thank you for joining me as I break down the good and the bad of A24's new flick of 2022. They've been on a roll. It's called Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. It's been called like a mix of Mean Girls with a little bit of Scream, but I think it's much more than that. Let's start with the premise. A party game leads to murder and mystery as a friend group that's dysfunctional, they're Gen Z, they are young and stupid, are in a remote mansion. They're all rich and have different means and different issues, but now they're trying to understand who killed their friend and what is going on after they lost all power and phone connection. Let's start with the good. The way A24 has been marketing this movie is marketing it as like a Gen Z slasher, a Scream for Gen Z. But I want to set your expectations if you've seen the trailers or heard anything about this movie. To me, it has some slasher vibes throughout, but it's more of a murder mystery, more of a whodunit, featuring a satirical view on how we see Gen Z people, how they talk, how they act, how they are cringy, and how their thought process is. And it's more of a deeper look on those kind of topics. It's not really somebody running around slashing. There's some of that in the movie, but it's more of a whodunit. It's a commentary on how we act on our primal fears lately, and we don't really see or hear the other people on the other side of whatever line we think they're on, and we just react. And that's what these people in this movie, they're reacting instead of just thinking or working together, and they start butting heads, as soon as one issue comes about. And that's something that happens in the world as well. And I know that sounds super serious, but the directors and the writers and the actors, they took a very satirical comedic approach to this. So this movie is fun throughout while poking at fun, having that message as well. It's a comedic, satirical look at these people from Gen Z first, then a murder mystery second. As long as you go into the movie knowing that, you can understand why certain things happen the way it does. But the director and the writer here did a clever and masterful way of not only writing these characters in very realistic, believable ways so they don't feel like caricatures, it's not a parody. And the way they did that was, when I looked and did some research, the director made the cast kind of ad-lib a lot of the lines so it felt more natural. It didn't seem like you were an older person writing lines for a younger person and it sounds like they don't know what they're talking about. I think that the whole cast was very strong, perfectly casted, but I think Pete Davidson, Rachel Sennott, and Halina Reijn, hopefully I said those last two people's names correctly, were the standouts in the cast, as they have three very different characters that represent different things that we see in the world, but they just knock it out of the park. All the characters are very complex and layered, and at first you see the cringe and the jokes and the things that they do, but there's a different layer there that you get throughout the movie that make them very interesting. You might not like all the characters, you might not even like any of the characters going into this movie, but you do understand them because of the performances. And my favorite part of Bodies, Bodies, Bodies is that it switches between horror, whodunit mystery to comedic, satirical effortlessly. It never felt like the tone was off or it was daunting or like, whoa, where did that come from? It was consistent and it was fun throughout. That's the thing about this movie. It's really fun, and that's why it's my favorite thing. This is something that you can go to the movies with a bunch of friends and just have a blast. When I was in the theater, people were laughing, people were engaged, but also people were quiet during the most tense moments, because this movie is still has that mystery, whodunit, horror side to it, and they build the tension, they build the mystery, they keep you guessing to the last minute. And that was my second favorite part of the movie. Usually I can kind of figure out where a movie's gonna go halfway through, but this one threw a couple curveballs where I was like, whoa, okay, I'm not too sure. I mean, almost up to the last minute, I still wasn't sure what was going on. And I think that was very clever writing and really strong directing and a stellar cast, just bringing the laughs, but bringing a really good, serious, emotional acting as well. Let's talk about the bad. So somewhere in between the ending of the second act going into the third act, the movie started to slow down just a bit. Not for too long, but it just felt like the director had to fill in the time. So because this movie is only 95 minutes, not that long. So it felt like that little section there, it broke my immersion because it felt like the director just had to fill in some time so it could meet the theatrical release. But once it revved up again, it got my attention. But it's really interesting. It keeps flowing. The character chemistry and dynamics are really good, and then it kind of just stops to a halt a little bit. And it took me out of the movie, and I like how I was just absorbed by it just a bit. Even though I'm not Gen Z, I think I'm a millennial. I think that 90% of the comedy here hit and landed for me. I laughed throughout. But if you are not someone that is in tune with what that generation is talking about, their jokes, their memes, the way they speak, you might see the jokes and what's going on in satirical view more annoying. And if you do and you don't like that kind of stuff, then you're gonna hate this movie, because that's the crux of the movie. It's all throughout, and it's really what the message is. It's talking about them. It's uplifting them while also poking fun at them, but also taking a bigger look at everybody else. But if you can't get past the cringe, then you're not gonna enjoy the ride. So this is my verdict. Bodies is a very entertaining, very unique, very refreshing take on the murder mystery slasher genre with some horror vibes throughout. I think it's very well written, very well directed, very well acted. I thought that a lot of it was just strong. The music was dope as well. And I think that this is a movie that you should go with some friends and just have a blast in the theater and just let the movie wash over you, and don't try too much hard to poke holes or pick anything out. It's just a fun ride with a message there if you want to see it. This is a movie that I'm definitely going to pick up on like Blu-ray and just show friends that didn't get a chance to see it. But I thought it was really great. And with that said, I'm going to give it a B+. And I want to give my monthly Patreon shout out to Clay Poindexter. If you saw my out of theater reaction video to Bodies, he was there. He's someone that suggests a lot of things to me. He comes to a lot of movies with me. He's one of my closest friends. So give that legend a shout out in the comments below. And yeah, thanks, Clay. About the movie itself, drop your comments down below if you saw the movie, and if you didn't, if you had any further questions to move you to the needle to go see it, let me know. If you're a subscriber, hit that like button. If you're not, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can be notified of my reviews, reactions, and more. And you can watch more of my content right now.